Hey, hi, and howdy to all my sweet friends out there. Thank you guys for joining me here, to all my returning viewers. And if you are new, welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on my video and checking it out. My name is Courtney. I do food and kitchen related content, mostly grocery hauls, what's for dinner, and meal prep videos. So if you like that kind of stuff, stick around, hit the subscribe button, and I think you'll find a lot of playlists and you can just kind of go through them and see what I've got here. All right, y'all, I do a weekly meal prep video, and I have been for, I want to say, a month or two now. This weekend was a little different. We weren't going to be home much. We had a birthday party to go to out of town. We had church. We just had things going on, so I knew we needed things ready to eat when we were home, but we weren't going to be home to just like munch on a whole bunch of stuff. So I decided to keep it pretty simple. If you saw my grocery haul, I bought some frozen little sliders from HEB, and I bought some buns. That's an easy meal, so I just went ahead and cooked up some bacon to throw on those little sliders or to make BLTs. And I also picked up some chicken in my grocery haul, and I was just going to pour some buffalo sauce on it. But I wanted some other easy things, so I grabbed these grapes. By the way, these Fruit Punch Carnival grapes are absolutely amazing. Best grapes, hand down, I have ever had. They are better than the cotton candy grapes. These come in this little plastic package, and it has holes on the bottom, so I find it's great to just go ahead and wash my grapes in that package because all the water will drain off the bottom. So I did that, and then I just kind of set them off to the side and let them drain all the water out, and now I'm just picking the grapes off the vine. I like to do that after I've washed them, and I like to do it just one by one so that I can pull out any grapes that are not good or have any yucky spots on them or anything like that. I tried that towel method that I've seen all over the internet to just easily get them off the stem, and that's great, but I found that I was not picking through them as carefully to get the bad grapes out. Another thing I purchased at the grocery store was some blackberries. I bought a lot of them, and I figured I'd go ahead and wash them just like I did with the grapes in that little package because there's slits on the bottom to drain them. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and wash them, and I'll put them in the fridge for a couple of days to snack on, and whatever's left over is going in the freezer. I actually bought quite a few of these because they were buy one, get one free. I'm also pulling out any bad blackberries that I see, and of course taste testing to make sure that they're really good, and they are. I like to freeze these because I can make like a blackberry jam or a blackberry syrup. It's really great if you throw it on some crepes. It's a nice, easy breakfast meal that's a little different from what we all have all the time. Now, my bacon is still in the oven. It wasn't quite ready, so I decided to go ahead and start processing some of the vegetables that I purchased and that I had in my fridge. I wanted to do veggies and dip. They're an easy side, and I can do a whole lot of them really quickly. That way we can have them with the sliders and the buffalo chicken. But we can also have whatever's left over for lunch throughout the week, or I can serve them as a side with dinner. My family loves to just dip some veggies in ranch dressing. They are completely content with that as a side to any meal, so I decided, well, this is going to be awesome. So I started off with these little mini bell peppers. These are a household favorite. I don't really know if they're all that different from the big bell peppers, but in my brain they are, and I prefer them. So this is what I buy. Any recipe that calls for bell peppers, this is what I put in there, these little sweet mini peppers. I just cut them open and pull like any membrane and seeds out because I don't really like the texture of the seeds. They're kind of hard and they don't chew well. And then I just slice these in long slices for dipping. Of course, you can dice them and mince them if you're going to put them in some kind of dish. But for dipping, these little slices are absolutely perfect. I did do quite a bit of them. My husband will eat a couple, but my oldest son, Xander, and I both really, really like these. So I did do quite a few because I know that he and I will just blow right through them. Plus, if I decide I want to throw together a salad, it's really easy to chop these up into little bite-sized chunks. And as I was looking at it, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and finish off the last of the pack I had in my fridge. So I did just go ahead and grab the last few out of the bag and get those guys sliced up. It's really quick and easy to do. And like I said, I love veggies and dip as a side. It's quick, it's easy, and especially during the summer, it's fantastic because it doesn't heat up your kitchen. Now, it is fall for a lot of us. I'm down in Texas, and our weather has been a lot nicer, but I will say the last couple of days are back up in the 90s, so it is a little bit warm again. And not having to turn on the oven is always nice. So this was a perfect side. Plus, it was ready to go. It holds well in the fridge while we were in and out throughout the weekend. Now I've got an English cucumber. Any kind of cucumber is great. I'm just super lazy. I don't like peeling vegetables. So I prefer to get the English cucumbers just because I don't have to peel them. It just makes my life easier. It makes making salads or anything else a lot quicker for me. I just kind of slice them up into veggie sticks, perfect for dipping in some ranch dressing. You could do like cucumber coins if that's what you want. I like these just because they're quick and it's simple. Plus, it's really easy for me to chomp these down if I wanted to throw them in a salad. Next, I've got some radishes. These are definitely a favorite in my household. Everybody loves them. I like to just go ahead and slice off the stem and the root. And that also kind of helps to make them sit nice and flat on your cutting board when you're trying to slice them up. It makes them a little bit easier to work with. Plus, those roots are kind of weird. I don't like the texture. I've seen people eat them. I've heard you can eat them. I tried it, but it just wasn't for me. And of course, the stem is a little bit stiff and woody, so I just cut that right off if there's any stem left on there. And the rest of it, I just slice right up into like little discs. You can kind of cut them any way you want to, but for me, these nice little thick discs are perfect. We're just going to dip them, like I said, in some ranch dressing. We're going to make that here in a minute too. I do make homemade ranch whenever we're doing veggies and dip and stuff like that, because it is so much better than what you get out of the bottle. I don't exactly follow like the package instructions, but it is so delicious. And I have learned that I would just rather throw that together anytime than pour it from a bottle. I don't care what brand it is. The homemade stuff is always just so much better. Plus, my husband and my son like to dip their buffalo chicken in ranch, so it was even better for them. I am a blue cheese gal, so that was my go-to. I had some carrots in my fridge. I personally am not a fan of carrots at all, but my husband and two of my kids really enjoy carrots, so I threw some in there. And then finally, some celery. I always use the tips. I've seen some people cut them off, but I've seen a lot of people use them. There's nothing wrong with them. There is kind of like a dried out end where they were cut. You want to just trim that off, but the rest of it is completely usable. It's delicious. It's great. Celery is not my favorite vegetable, but I will eat it, and I think it's great when you have like buffalo chicken. I think I'm just conditioned to think that way because it's always served with buffalo chicken. So I did just go ahead and slice it up and have some celery on the side. It is really good in blue cheese dressing too, just like buffalo chicken. Are any of y'all fans of buffalo chicken with blue cheese, or do you like it with ranch? What is your go-to dip for that? Again, like I said, I am a blue cheese gal. I love blue cheese. No one else in my house does, but it is definitely one of my favorites. I've even put it on burgers and stuff. So good. I've made my own blue cheese dressing a couple of times, and I think it is just absolutely fantastic. But as I'm the only person that eats it, I find that it kind of just goes bad before I can use it up in my house. So I typically get like the bottled stuff or the jarred stuff. All right, our bacon is finally done. I cook mine in the in the oven on parchment paper. I do it at 400 degrees, and I check it to see if it needs to be flipped halfway through. This was really thin, cheap bacon, so I did not need to flip it. But if you are cooking a better quality bacon that is thicker, you're probably going to want to flip it about halfway through, about 10 minutes or so in, sometimes 12, depending on how thick it is, just to get it to cook really well. And sometimes I'll move the outer slices into the middle. It just helps everybody to cook more evenly. All right, let's make that ranch. So I've got some mayonnaise. I'm trying to use the last of this little squeeze bottle. I typically get my mayonnaise at Sam's Club in a big jar, but I couldn't remember if I had any or not. So on a whim, I had grabbed this a couple of weeks ago. And as it turned out, it was a good call on my part because I did not have any extra mayonnaise, so it was really handy to have. But I've been to Sam's Club since then, and we have some. I got as much as I could out, and then I poured some milk in the mayonnaise jar because you're supposed to use buttermilk in your ranch dressing. So I just poured the milk into the mayonnaise jar, shook it up to get the last of it out, and then I added my sour cream. I don't have buttermilk. It's not something I typically keep on hand, so I add lemon juice in because that kind of curdles the milk and turns it into buttermilk. You could add vinegar as well, but I love the flavor of lemon juice when I'm making my homemade ranch. The flavor kind of shines through a little bit. It's a really nice, bright zing, and I love it. So I always add lemon juice in now. You could do lime juice as well. I've done that before, but my personal preference would definitely be lemon. I buy my ranch seasoning at Sam's Club in the big container, so I just put what I thought would be about a packet's worth in there and started mixing it up. I was kind of eyeballing it. I can look at it at this point and see if it looks like ranch dressing or not to me, and I could tell I needed just a little bit more. It wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. So I added a little bit more in, got that stirred in. Then I like to add in some extra dill and some onion powder and some garlic powder. And then I have some dried parsley and some dried chives. If I've got those, I add them in. Sometimes I'm out and I don't get to add them in, but when I have them, it's so much better. And then often I try to throw in some some pepper as well, but you don't have to. Just adding in the dried herbs and the extra garlic powder and onion powder is so delicious with that lemon juice. It has so much bright flavor. And it's better if you can let this sit for at least an hour before you serve it. But I mean, it is ready to go right away if you really want it to. I did give it a quick taste test and I could tell it needed a little bit more brightness from the lemon juice, so I added a tiny bit more. I would say I did half a cup of mayonnaise, a quarter cup of sour cream, about a quarter cup of milk, and when I was done, I probably did about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, but start with 1 tablespoon if you're making this at home. I also added in about a tablespoon of dill, but you could go lighter on that. I'll list everything down below in the description box. The last thing we're going to do is I'm going to share this drink with y'all. So, unpopular opinion, I do not like pumpkin spice lattes. Not at all. I am not a pumpkin spice girl. I just don't love it. However, Starbucks has a pumpkin spice iced chai tea latte. There's so many words in the title, but it's chai tea with pumpkin spice cream. So good. It's like pumpkin pie in a glass. So here's how I've been making it at home so I don't have to spend all my money at Starbucks. I have a can of pumpkin puree, 100% pure pumpkin, and I put about a tablespoon and a half because this is a big cup. Then I added in a little bit of heavy cream, maybe a quarter cup to 1/8 of a cup, depending on how big your glass is. Then I'm adding what would be pumpkin pie spice, but I don't have pumpkin pie spice, so it is cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg. And then I'm going to just whisk that up with my little frother here. I don't want like a whipped cream texture. I want it just to be nice and thick and foamy, like the cold foam you get at Starbucks. I'm making sure I get a little bit of air whipped in there because that is what makes it nice and thick. And then to this, I am just going to add in some chai tea concentrate. I swear to you guys, it is like drinking pumpkin pie. It is so delicious. I love a good iced coffee, and this is replacing my iced coffee in the afternoon right now. I'm loving it. It's fantastic. You could use the same method to make pumpkin cream for your cold brew coffee if that's what you want as well, and you could pour it on your hot coffee too. I'm just not a fan of the coffee with the pumpkin pie stuff. But I loved it in this chai, probably because it already had the spices in it that are typically what you find in pumpkin pie. This is so delicious. So, so good. I've been drinking this way too many times during the week. Anyway, I will also list the recipe for this down below. The only thing I put in here that you won't be able to do is I had some coffee syrup that I made homemade. It's like the sugar cookie flavored coffee syrup, kind of a knockoff on Starbucks. I've made it before on my channel. I'll see if I can find a recipe for it, but if not, you can just throw in some brown sugar or sweetener of your choice. Anyway, that's all I did this week. Like I said, we were super busy, but I hope you guys really enjoyed this and found some things helpful. Let me know what you think of the chai latte. It's one of my favorites, or what your favorite drink is. Thanks for watching, you guys. I will see you soon with another video. Bye.